In October of 2001, Grand Theft Auto 3 took the video game world by storm. Nobody had ever seen anything like the wide-open, sprawling metropolis that was Liberty City. With a deluge of deadly weapons at the player's disposal and a selection of vehicles that constantly kept high-stakes races and police chases feeling fresh, it seemed like there was nothing GTA 3 couldn't do. How the hell were developer Rockstar North supposed to top this, right? What could they possibly do to make the next game bigger and better? Well, they didn't have very long to figure it out. Another Grand Theft Auto game was scheduled to hit store shelves just 1 year after GTA 3, which is unbelievable in hindsight. I can't imagine how that felt in the moment. The most simple solution would have been to go the Madden route. Let's basically keep everything the same. We'll just update the look and stats of the cars a little bit, right? Keep the same setting, just sprinkle a few more NPCs on the street, drop a few new billboards in on the highways. They probably could have gotten away with it too, but obviously that's not what happened. The entirety of Liberty City would be left behind, as would every single character established in the previous game. The clock would turn back from modern day to the late 1980s. A syringe full of neon was injected straight into the setting's veins, overdosing this brand new world with a radiance unlike anything we'd experienced prior. Rockstar North were looking to blow you away all over again with Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Today we dive deep into the music, the missions, the blood, and beyond. This is 6 stars in Vice City, a Grand Theft Auto retrospective. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. Creating a sequel to a gigantically successful video game is a tall order in and of itself, and when you've only got a year to do it, the pressure is really on. That's the sort of pressure that turns coal into diamonds. But that wasn't always the goal. A big, crazy sequel is what Vice City became by the time it released, but production began as a simple add-on to Grand Theft Auto 3. A mission pack, a map expansion, that sort of thing. As I stated in the GTA 3 video, that game wasn't a massive success from day one. It wasn't until the media started calling Liberty City and its denizens problematic that the public really started buying the game in droves. It's funny how that works, right? That was nearly 6 months after the title had launched, and when the sales began stacking up higher than anyone at Rockstar North had imagined, plans changed. This little add-on needed to be something different. It needed to be bigger. It needed to be its own thing entirely. That's when the switch flipped. Development on the now standalone Grand Theft Auto Vice City ramped up. What's funny is that even before we knew what to expect, Rockstar was practically slapping us in the face with the next move, as Vice City, if you didn't know it, is Miami, in the same way that Liberty City is New York City. The hints were there, and this is a practice the developer has become infamous for over time. What we couldn't possibly have expected, though, was that this new story would have us going back to the past. This time, players take control of Tommy Vercetti, a man who isn't exactly on the straight and narrow. And by that I mean he just wrapped a 15-year stint in prison for murder. What does a guy like Tommy do with his newfound freedom, right? Trying to get into construction? Maybe go back to school. Nah, he's headed directly into the drug business. Vice City is a market that isn't cornered by any specific crew, and Tommy falls in line with Sonny Forelli, a man who is, you guessed it, looking to corner that market. When shit immediately hits the fan, it all opens up, introducing Tommy to madmen like Colonel Cortez, Ricardo Diaz, Ken Rosenberg, Lance Vance, goddamn Love Fist. Man, everything gets out of hand almost immediately. Very fitting for the time period. It's 1986. This was the era where musicians, movie producers, everybody was piling handfuls of cocaine up their nose and throwing shit like Dr. Detroit, the Blues Brothers, and Maximum Overdrive at you like, look, isn't this awesome? Isn't this great? Wait, it isn't? Fuck it, let's buy a boat and open a hardware store. We're killing hundreds of people in broad daylight, smuggling blows, stealing cars, and it's all kind of funny. Yeah, it is. It's lighthearted. The game's executive producer, Sam Houser, called the mid to late 80s the grooviest era of crime because it didn't even feel like it was a crime. It was a totally topsy-turvy, back-to-front period of time. Now, I wasn't there. I was born in 1990. And if I was alive, I can assure you I would not have been involved in the drug running business, but I can't help but feel like he's right. Are there any retired runners in the comments? Any former cocaine kingpins who can confirm or deny his claims? Let me know. So you've seen the graphics, you've met a few of the characters, we know about the insane premise that this was all created inside of 1 year. Did I happen to mention that half of the dev team were working on porting GTA 3 to PC for the first 6 months of Vice City's production? No? Well, add that on too. Let's talk about the gameplay. What is different? How many things could possibly be altered in such a short amount of time? Well, plenty of things, actually. Driving feels completely different. For one, I find that every single car feels much heavier here in Vice City. If you really put the pedal to the floor and get some speed, your brakes act as merely a suggestion to slow down, rather than delivering a quick and sudden halt. Coming from the previous game straight into Vice City for these retrospectives, it was quite an adjustment. At first I thought I hated these new driving controls, but I settled in. I've even begun to wonder if this was done on purpose to convey how differently automobiles were built between 1986 and 2001. Back in the 80s, 78.4% of the average car's curb weight was made up of steel. Today, that number has dropped below 65%. I'm no expert, but I'd imagine that makes a pretty big difference. But the weight and feel of the cars isn't the only thing that's changed when it comes to driving. Say hello to motorcycles. Hell yeah, dude. Motorcycles were my #1 want from GTA 3, and here they are. Harley-style bikes with the big-ass handlebars, ninjas with that sports bike speed and handling, little mopeds that you might see on a college campus, even dirt bikes. Somebody call Travis Pastrana. I cannot begin to explain how much time I spent in my youth trying to land a backflip on one of these bikes. I tried every model there is, I visited so many different stunt sites and ramps, all for nothing. If you get in the comments and tell me you landed a backflip, I do not believe you. Provide footage of the flip or don't bother saying anything.
Instructor who wouldn't get drafted by the local out now on beta and VHS. Remember to
Ay, cuidado, I'm walking!
What's really funny is that I stumbled upon these forum posts from 20 years ago where players who had just purchased the game were dying to land a backflip. They were discussing whether or not it was possible. A moment in time, preserved for all to see. The internet feels like a museum sometimes, doesn't it? You know what really belongs in a museum? This chainsaw. Yeah, dude, a chainsaw! Brand new melee weapons like the meat cleaver and katana added a whole new layer to the concept of rampages, man. The story missions feature much more variety as well, including... Wait, did I go this long without talking about the helicopters and airplanes? Oh man. Okay, motorcycles might not have been my #1 want from GTA 3, I think they were #2. Because what I really wanted to do in a city that large was fly. Looking down on everything, the lights of the skyscrapers, the cars moving through the streets like the blood in a city's veins. Vice City has helicopters and airplanes, and goddamn, piloting one of these is indeed as cool as it sounds. The planes are still a bit of a tease, as This sea skimmer is the only flyable model in the game. We can break into the airport and catch a glimpse of a commercial jet, even a smaller private plane, but neither of them are interactable in any way. Maybe next time. But hey, I wasn't complaining. It may not be perfect, but I got what I wanted. The story even features missions where we take control of RC choppers and airplanes, dropping bombs and blowing shit up. How goofy is this? In revisiting the prior game, I found the collection of funds to be largely pointless. Each mission pays out a set amount of cash and we can use it to purchase guns and armor at the ammunition shops, but what else was there to do with the money, really? The answer was not a whole lot. Here in Vice City, that has changed. The options for different buyable outfits has vastly improved. There are more options in the ammunition shops, and above all else, we can purchase property now. Strip clubs like the Pole Position or the Malibu will run you between $30,000 and $120,000. Interglobal Studios will cost you $60K. Kaufman Cabs is $40,000. And the best part is that these properties come with their own line of missions to complete. Finishing the set means the business will make money in the background for you. Buying the strip club specifically is my girlfriend's favorite part of the entire Vice City package. Why? Because once she's the owner, she can get inside without issue. Once she's inside, she pulls out a rocket launcher and murders every single living soul in the building. This is a rampage of epic proportions, and it can be repeated over and over again. Whether that's good for business or not is on her. I told you, this is her save file, not mine. And if we were talking about anything but Grand Theft Auto, I'd be worried. But in Vice City? Hey, that's just the name of the game. Between its voice cast and soundtrack, Grand Theft Auto 3 felt big time. It felt legit. It felt like a movie. Once again, this is an area where Vice City shines even brighter. Madman legends like Gary Busey and Burt Reynolds join the insanely hot Fairuza Balk and the iconic Danny Trejo on the cast. And that's before we even mention that Tommy Vercetti, our star of the show, is voiced by the late, great Ray Liotta. I love Ray Liotta. He stars in some of my favorite movies. But his experience on and with Grand Theft Auto could have been better. He made no bones about the fact that he was not into video games at all.
They asked me and I didn't know anything about it. I'm not a gamer. I've never even played Grand Theft Auto. I have no idea. I know what the object is because I kept saying, get the fuck out of the car. Yeah. Get the hell out of here. And all I do is curse and call people whores, and it's just brutal.
Classic game.
And later openly stated that he wasn't happy with his pay. Not exactly an ideal scenario when your star is bad-mouthing the company, but hey, what can you do? If you're Rockstar, you can just stop hiring big celebrities, I guess. Hey, who did the voices of the main characters in their later games? Exactly, see? Music-wise, man, this was 1986. I'm not trying to be a boner for the past or anything, but to pretend the radio stations weren't on fire here in Vice City would be criminally dishonest. I'm gonna get real dangerous again monetization-wise, but I've gotta risk it to give you the best video possible. Are you kidding me with this soundtrack? Driving through the neon streets with Billie Jean or Out of Touch blasting out of your convertible? Jeez, man, there's really not much that can match it. I'd like to think that the developers actually did this in real life while they were gathering research for the game, as Rockstar sent the team on an all-expenses-paid trip to Miami in order to get a feel for the city. Pretty sweet gig, right? I'll sign up for that. I don't know how to make a video game or anything, but I'll go on a free trip and come up with a few ideas. Any takers? Does anybody want to send me anywhere? No? Nah, that's alright. I don't really want to go anywhere anyway. Update! While writing this retrospective, I bought the book Jacked, The Outlaw Story of Grand Theft Auto by David Kushner to further my research, and I can now confirm that the team did indeed drive around Miami, cycling through songs with the top down in order to determine which tracks truly fit the mold. Again, I'm available. If anyone needs any field research of this kind handled in a timely manner, you know how to get a hold of me. As you might imagine, the annoying, incessant badgering of the world's greatest protectors ramped up as this new GTA title gained traction. Infamous activist and anti-video game personality, Jack Thompson's eyes once again lit up, this time like a neon sign on the Vice City Strip. Thompson, who had brought the legal battle to Rockstar before, this time attempted to take the fight to retailers over the illegal selling of sexually explicit material to minors. That material being Grand Theft Auto Vice City. This went nowhere as there was no law against selling M-rated games to consumers under the age of 17 at the time. You'd think he would have known that. I wanted to call Thompson an attorney, but I can't, seeing as though he was disbarred by the Supreme Court of Florida over a litany of issues including 31 different lawyerly violations. Inappropriate conduct, accusing judges of being involved in the fixing of cases that he lost, so on and so forth. He admits zero responsibility and expresses no regret over his actions, instead claiming that his disbarring was an inside job in order to steal his relevance. Later, in that same interview with The Verge, Thompson confirms that he enjoys being the center of attention. Shocking, right? By the way, Thompson's disbarring was made official as he headed a case against who? Rockstar Games and Grand Theft Auto. Poor little Jack Thompson. I don't even like talking about him, but his ego-driven crusade to control everything that you and I enjoy, from video games to music to movies, ultimately ending in his own embarrassing collapse, is quite entertaining, I must say. What a bozo. It goes without saying, the immortal pastime of taking turns going on ridiculous killing sprees has somehow gotten even better. Now, the police don't simply chase you and crash into you. They're much smarter this time. Mess around for too long and they'll set up a blockade, tossing spike strips down to flatten your tires and completely ruin your vehicle. This is so cool. They can pop your tires with gunfire as well. It's extremely frustrating during story missions, but that doesn't mean it isn't awesome.
Oh, we've worked through it.
There are many more interiors here in Vice City. Head inside a fast food joint, enter a mansion, maybe the movie studio complete with the lot where the moon landing was staged? Whoops, maybe we weren't supposed to see this. My favorite spot is in the North Point Mall. Everybody in here is prey, and luckily for us, they continue to spawn for endless insanity. I mentioned in the GTA 3 retrospective that my friends and I called these killing sprees rampages. Well, maybe great minds really do think alike, as Rockstar have included rampage mini-games here in Vice City. With a time limit and a murder goal, these can be a blood-soaked blast. The team at Rockstar North, in just 1 year, had somehow done the unthinkable. They'd taken their previous project, a game that turned the entire industry upside down and inspired hundreds of copycats, and they'd topped it. Seriously, Vice City is better than GTA 3 in every way. Across the board, in all categories, Vice City clears. When the reviews came in, the scores were higher. When the sales started to stack up, they were bigger. Vice City would go on to become the best-selling video game of 2002, moving nearly 18 million copies. The devs at Rockstar worked their asses off, putting in 70-hour work weeks when the rubber met the road, and their dedication paid off. After this game dropped, they were buying houses. They were popping champagne and throwing parties, reveling in their hard-earned success. For my money, Grand Theft Auto Vice City is one of the best games ever made. Now, it has obviously been outdone in the production department. There are games that play better today too, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that you can hand the controller to anybody, and they're gonna have the best time. Your girlfriend, your dad, your buddy who doesn't play video games very often, your dog. Literally anyone can have fun with Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I asked my girlfriend why she prefers Vice City to Grand Theft Auto 5, to which she responded, "Vice City is easier for me to play." She loves Animal Crossing. She's great at Tetris. Her worlds in The Sims are insane. But she's not going to pick up a controller and beat BioShock on the hardest difficulty. Not all gamers take to today's games like they're nothing, you know? And that is what I'm talking about. Vice City was made to last. And today, over 20 years later, it still stands tall. And now, for no reason at all, here's a compilation of carnage. Thank you so much for watching this Grand Theft Auto Vice City retrospective. San Andreas is on the way, and if you'd like to see further retrospectives like the history of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, or hell, maybe we can even get GTA 4 and 5 on the list, sign up over on patreon.com/616entertainment. Every new sign up brings us one step closer to unlocking that next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.